Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
This episode of The House of Mystery is brought to you by Legacy Food Storage. The best way to protect your family is by being prepared. LegacyFoodStorage.com.
And 89 people on board were killed.
You've now entered the House of Mystery.
Crime, conspiracy, history, and science.
With your hosts, Al Warren, Mike Brown,
Julie Sav, Michael Butterfield.
Dr. Joseph Usinski, and Michael Hawley.
Heard on KCAA 106.5 FM Los Angeles,
102.3 FM Riverside,
and 105.0 AM Palm Springs.
Boris, darling, you've done it again.
Of course. Never underestimate the power of a
We're
snook.
back in the House of Mystery, and I'm Al Warren sitting at the controls. And then on the East Coast, near Boston, we've got David Martino.
Hey, Al, good to be here.
Didn't say North, David.
I know.
Yeah, and welcoming back. You know, it's been a couple of months. We've had the dark poutine. Mr. Mike Brown is back. It's good to have you back.
Oh, it's good to be back, Alan. I was hiding for a while because I just decided that being inside was safer for me than being outside. So,
yeah, I don't believe that for a moment. Hit the police. He was on the run.
That's what I do. I cover Canadian crime on my podcast, and I actually commit Canadian crime. So it's
that would be an excellent story. I think that would be awesome. Could you imagine a crime podcaster gets arrested?
I don't think it would be the first time, to tell you the truth.
Probably not.
for serial killing, it would be.
Yeah, maybe.
But you like cereal, so you kill a lot of cereal. Now, today we've got really interesting show. We've had some people covering this before. I know with Columbine, we had a few people that were their children had been killed, and we had some of the parents on and some of the things they had to deal with, and one of them had to deal with Alex Jones, which of course is our favorite nut job that we know. And so we're going to cover the Columbine again, and this time we have survivor Amy Over. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's exciting.
Well, not as exciting as being in Columbine. That's
No, that was not an exciting day. That was horrible.
No, so I don't know. I don't want to be a typical host and kind of go through all that stuff that probably a lot of people do. But the first thing I have to say is, okay, so you survived this horrific event. But what led you to come out and go public, sort of, and start a Confronting Columbine podcast?
Well, that's a good question. They asked me about over a year ago to be the host of Confronting Columbine. And I've been in the public eye a little bit through my advocacy work with the Rebels Project. But I don't know. Something in my gut told me that I still had some more healing to do and some more things to confront in my journey. So I decided to take the leap and be the host of this Confronting series. And I took on Columbine full circle. I took on every facet of Columbine.
Before we get too far down the road, can you tell us a little bit about the Rebels Project and what the mandate is and what you do there?
Absolutely. The Rebels Project is a 501c3 nonprofit here in Colorado. It started in Colorado after the Aurora Theater shooting in 2012. And I didn't come on board until about a year or two later as their director of fundraising. But we basically help survivors of mass trauma all over the country. And we're in over 106 communities across the world, sadly enough. But we're now offering counseling and services it's called Project Journey, which is our counseling program. And we have a few survivors in that program right now, and we help and fully fund their journey.
Wow. When you say at the beginning, you say something about you still had a lot of healing. Of course, I haven't been through anything like you did. So I don't have the experience. I can only ask, does the healing ever really happen? Because all of us here write a lot of true crime or horror. Mm-hmm. And when you're involved in that, we deal with a lot of victims and survivors. I didn't really get the feeling with any of the ones I've talked to that they, I don't know how to say it. If it's sort of changed their life, and I don't know, does the healing ever end? Is it something you have to keep working at?
It's something that I keep working on an everyday basis. I have anxiety disorder. I struggle with panic attacks sometimes, but I really had to confront this hit list that apparently I was told I was on. And I needed to get information from the lead investigator, Kate Batten, which is in one of the later episodes in the podcast. And she actually shows me the hit list. So it's pretty crazy. And it really just helped me, find answers. And I needed that for some of my healing process, and just to learn some of the details of the crime and to talk to people like Mary Ellen O'Toole and really just dive into why our perpetrators committed this act and what, and I needed to talk with other survivors as well and see where they're at in their healing process.
Can you explain what you mean by hit list?
It is a list that one of the perpetrators wrote out saying that he wanted to kill a certain people. And he actually had two lists.
So at the end of this, did you get out of the podcast? How many episodes are there?
There's 10 episodes, 10. And then there'll be bonus episodes as well.
What is it?
But there are 10 episodes.
So what is it that you hope listeners get? Because this is not just about you. You're putting it out there. Where is it you want people to what is it you want them to get to take away from it?
I want them to know what a great community Columbine is. And I think there's a lot of myths that came out of Columbine. And, Dave Cullen really talks about it in his book, Columbine. And I get to interview him. And I think it's really important to just, navigate and talk about all the myths, because people want to say that Columbine happened because of bullying and Columbine happened because of the trench coat mafia. And, everyone wanted to blame somebody. So I think it's really important that we talk about certain myths that were given through the media. And I want people, I want law enforcement to be able to share their story of that day. A lot of times, law enforcement, they don't get to show their true colors sometimes, especially with trauma. And, Columbine was such a pivotal point in history. And I think, and a lot of mistakes were made, especially with SWAT. They used to secure the perimeter of a crime scene before they go in. Now they go in, and if there's an active shooter, they go to shoot to kill. But so there were a lot of mistakes made. It's kind of like multifaceted. I want people to understand what the survivor community looks like. I want them to understand what, Frank DeAngelis, what he went through, just everything. And that literally it was like Martians landed, and it was all on national television. And we were so young. We were only teenagers trying to navigate this.
Having worked for a short time in social services, I'm curious, what does the recovery process look like for someone who's gone through something like this? And what are the counseling sessions like? And are there any counseling methods that are, deemed more effective?
A lot of our survivor community talks about EMDR therapy, which is eye movement, desensitization and reprocessing, I believe it's called. But EMDR has been highly effective in helping with nightmares, and it kind of retrains your brain. So that has been, and talk therapy has been really helpful. We always tell the Rebels Project, we always tell survivors to, when they're ready, to walk through their steps of that day. Like, for instance, I walked through my steps at Columbine several times in my recovery.
So let's talk about it a little bit. Where were you when this happened?
I was in the cafeteria getting ready to have lunch. I just got a basketball scholarship that morning through my coach, Dave Sanders. And I was going down to tell all my friends about it. And then the shooting started happening.
So now, of course, this was a complete surprise. You never knew anything like this was going to happen. What was your initial reaction?
I thought it was a fight outside, to be honest with you. I didn't know it was going to be this planned out massacre. But it was supposed to be a bombing, actually, but it ended up turning into, they came in, the bombs didn't go off at 11:17 like they were supposed to, and they came in shooting at the propane tanks. I was in the cafeteria underneath the table while I was hearing all the gunfire, and then I watched my coach, Dave, kind of navigate and tell us where to go, and then he told us to run and get out of the building. So I took his cue and ran as fast as I could out the main entrance of the cafeteria, and ran as we were running out, we were being shot at.
So I'd imagine now quite a few of the survivors like yourself, or a little bit older, and quite a few have families themselves. How is that for putting your own kids into school?
Yeah, that so putting my daughter into preschool set off just a multitude of problems for me. The day I sent her to preschool, I actually ended up in the hospital because I fainted, and I had a panic attack, and I thought I was dying. And my doctor at the time just told me I had panic disorder, and I had to go back and get help. And that was years later, after the Columbine shooting. It was years later that I had, this traumatic effects of my trauma. It just came out. It came out of nowhere.
So it was something you kind of put away, something hidden for all that time. Absolutely.
And it's something that I deal with to this day. And now my daughter is a freshman in high school, and her first day this year at school, I had that panicky feeling that this was going to happen to her. And it's something that I struggle with on not on a daily basis, but it's something that's in the back of my mind. I know that the kids are safe, and I'm not going to stop sending my kids to school, but it's definitely something that, is in my life.
How did you explain it to her?
Columbine?
Yeah, like how you did talk to her about it, didn't you?
I did. When she was 12 years old, it was the Columbine anniversary, and I took her. Well, she was curious about what happened to me. She wanted to know all the details. And so I shared them with her, and I told her all about it, and we spent the day together, and it was really lovely, like walking up to the memorial with my daughter. Dave Sanders' daughter, Connie, came up to us and gave Brianna, my daughter, some flowers. And so it was just kind of fitting for the moment. But that was the first day that I really shared my experience with her.
So now in the world today and how things have gone and the constant shootings in schools and stuff and Parkland and all of the stuff, what's your feeling on gun control itself?
And I try to stay, so politically, I try to stay out of the gun reform and gun control, topics, just because of, I help run a nonprofit organization. And if I choose sides, then, I want everyone to feel comfortable coming into the Rebels Project. So, but personally, me, just talking off the record, like I'm pissed off. This has got to change. Something has to change. We as a society need to figure out, what to do with, gun reform. And I think it's really important to, it's also a mental health issue. And talking with Kate Batten and FBI profiler Mary Ellen O'Toole, this seems like a male issue in society, a young male issue. So we need to start looking at this differently. And I don't know what that is and how to stop mass shootings, but I mean, we've got to figure out, like, Kate Batten had mentioned that boys are lacking in coping skills. So maybe that is a reason why, they're apt to go grab a gun and shoot up a school. So it's such a multifaceted issue, and I don't know how to stop it. And I wish I could stop it.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting topic, because I don't know, not that I had any great coping skills, especially when I was young, but I didn't have the urge to shoot even the bullies, even the people that, let's say, were mean to me. But I also grew up in Canada, so it's not like we had the access to the guns.
Yeah.
So that's a little different, and it's something that seems to be picking up again recently this year. So I definitely think there's a mental element to it. You're right.
Mm-hmm. I do. I think it's not so cut and dry with, take away all the guns. I think that I don't think anyone should have a magazine. I don't know why anyone would need something like that. I'm not saying get rid of your Second Amendment right. I own guns, handguns, but, they're locked up safely, and I'm a responsible gun owner. But at the same time, it's like something's got to give. We've got to have stricter gun laws. We've got to have stricter background checks. And, it's got to be a mental health. It's a mental health crisis too.
Do you worry about backlash on that sort of subject?
I definitely worry about backlash on that subject. And that's why I pretty much don't talk about it, because my focus is on the aftermath after someone has gone through a mass trauma, and not gun reform. Now, I will go to gun rallies, though. I have been to March for Our Lives. My daughter and I did a glamour piece a few years back after Parkland. My daughter wanted to go be a part of that movement, and I supported her. So, but I have to be careful when dealing with that subject.
Yeah, and the things are so political nowadays. Like, things are pretty wild, especially in the U.S. I don't know what's going to happen, And I see this with like, when we talk the last 4 years, and we talk about the gun control, but we can also talk about people like Alex Jones and that whole nutball squad. And how does that sit with you? Like, how do you deal with people that kind of say that Columbine didn't happen, that it was a hoax, that there was crisis actors and all that? Like, what do you do with that?
I don't even acknowledge it. I mean, that's just absurd to say that Sandy Hook never happened. Like, I've worked in that community, and we've seen the carnage and the sadness and everything that has happened in that community. I mean, it's just, I can't even go there. Like, it's just, it doesn't even resonate with me. I'm like, I can't believe someone would say that didn't happen or it was a hoax.
I think it goes back to mental illness.
Yeah, I think it does too. I definitely think it goes back to mental illness and conspiracy theories. I can't even go there. All I know is that when someone goes through a mass shooting, that there are support services out there to help people through it.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to stop.
Well, it's a good thing, right? I mean, it's something that it wasn't there when it happened to you.
No, it wasn't. And that's why our CEO, Heather Martin, she wanted a support system. And so she made one. And apparently it's needed. It's definitely needed.
When you speak to other survivors, what do you tell them?
I like to just listen, and, when they want to tell me their story, it's so personal that I sit back and I listen. Sometimes we cry, and we definitely hug, and it's powerful when you get to meet another survivor that understands what you've gone through. And I've met shooting survivors that have been shot, and I've met some that have invisible wounds and survivor's guilt. And, it's just a safe space that everyone can talk about their feelings, and a lot of laughter. And, I think a lot of us have a dark sense of humor. So we kind of have like like mass shooting survivors. I can't speak for all of them, but at least like our group is kind of quirky and goofy, and we talk about our, triggers and things that make us jumpy and things, sounds, and it just normalizes, what we went through.
It's necessary.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. To validate someone's feelings is really powerful.
Well, and you'll find that, because I know in the true crime world too, we have a dark sense of humor, and sometimes it can get pretty, some people kind of get upset, when they hear some of the things we'll say, and it's like, well, it's kind of a way of coping with it. Don't you find?
Yeah, I do. And it's, I'll say to my mass shooting community, I'm going to shoot you an email. And, it's just, we're just, it's just like, I'm like, oh crap, I just said shoot,
gallows humor.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, we just, humor has gotten us through this a lot of times, you've got to find humor in life. You've got to learn to laugh again and to find joy in life, because the world is a scary place, but, you got to learn how to cope and get through things and come out of it okay. And you can come out of it okay. It just takes some time.
Yeah. And I agree with that. You really do have to find the laughter, find a little bit of humor in this, because otherwise it'll be dark all the time,
Oh yeah. My mom, so I wore these really stupid wedge shoes when I was running from the shooting. And I couldn't run in them. They were ridiculous. And my mom was like, good. I looked fabulous. But my mom was like, why didn't you take those dumb shoes off? And I was like, well, they're really expensive, Mom. I can't take them off. I'm not going to lose my shoes.
I'm live on TV.
Yeah, it's like, you just got to find like humor and funny things. I remember after the shooting, we went to Chatfield High School to finish up our year, and we were sitting in this circle talking about our feelings, and this special needs boy is just getting up and being goofy, and we're just we found laughter and like happiness and joy. Like he brought us joy during just a really sad time. Like he was trying to make us laugh, and I think like we needed that at that time.
So now, looking back at things, how do you think this changed your life? How did this change where you were going to go? Do you know what I mean? How the future?
Oh, that's a hard question. What do
you think would have happened to you if you weren't at the school that day? You had been sick or something.
If I wasn't there, I probably would have had survivor's guilt, or I don't know. But I would have gone off and played basketball, but I wouldn't have met my husband. So, I try to look at the positives that, that day, it brought me, tremendous sadness. But at the other side of it, like, it has brought me amazing opportunities to meet new people, to I love my life. I love my family. I cherish life every single day, and I don't take it for granted. I know that life can be cut short very quick.
Yeah, that's for sure. So your day-to-day life now, what's it like?
It's really busy. I have 4 kids.
Oh.
So my day-to-day life is, I'll get up in the morning, I'll get all the kids off to school. And then I usually have like lunches for the Rebels Project and, emails. And, and this past year, I've been working on the podcast every day. So that has kept me really busy this year.
Ongoing. So what would your message be to someone else that's in a crisis like this, or been through some sort of a shooting or something in the same area as you?
Boulder just happened here in Colorado. I would love to tell them that, when you're ready, there's a support system out there for you. And just, don't stop your marathon. Keep running your marathon, no matter how hard it gets. No matter if you don't think you can go on anymore, you can. And it takes just a lot of time, and you've got to find a support system. I think that is number one, is you've got to find a support system of people that you trust, and that people that will validate your feelings and be there for you. And just never stop running your marathon, because it's an ongoing path that you're on,
There's a key part there when you said that when you're ready. How does a person know? What is that time for someone?
Sometimes it's when you hit rock bottom, like literally hit rock bottom, like whether that's with addiction, it's with a lot of our peers have had addiction issues. It could be, mine was ending up in the hospital bed thinking I'm dying with a panic attack. That's when I knew I needed to go get some more help. It could be, just you're ready to talk about it. I think it's really important to, listen to your body, listen to, I was like physically ill all the time because I had a lot of PTSD and trauma, and that manifested into like me being physically ill. So I think it's just really important to listen to your body and find a support system.
Yeah. I listen to my body all the time.
Me too. I'm 40 now, and stuff hurts.
Oh, wait till you're 60.
Or 50.
Yeah, you forget what part is hurting. You don't even
know.
My body's really mad at me.
Yeah.
Me too. My body's mad at me too.
Yeah, that's just now. What's your now for people that are listening and they want to listen to your podcast? Where do they go find it?
You can find it on every platform: Apple, Spotify, Google, Wondery, anywhere. And then people they can find us on Facebook, Instagram. Just go to Confronting Columbine, and we're everywhere.
And do you have a website or a website that you suggest people go to?
That is a good question, and
you don't have it.
And I don't have it, and I knew you were going to ask that of me.
Well, that's okay. We'll figure it out, and when we do get it, we will put it up on our website and let people have access to it, and then they can just click and find out and stuff. And,
definitely,
yeah.
But now people could check out therebelsproject.org if they're interested in learning more about that.
Definitely. They can check us out on therebelsproject.org, and we're all there, and we're a small grassroots company, and we love what we do, and we love just being with the survivor communities.
Well, it's really so. How's this been with COVID in the last year and all this, like with the rebels, and so how's that going? It makes it quite a bit harder, I guess.
We have to do we actually have a monthly meeting tonight, and with our survivor group, and it's via Zoom. So we're not going to be able to have our survivors gathering this summer, which we fly out survivors all over the country and have a whole weekend of healing and just connecting. So we're not going to have that this summer. And then I'm doing a golf tournament in August. So I'm hoping that that's going to be able to happen. But so far, so good. And it looks like we're going to be able to have our 9th annual Rebels with a Cause fundraiser. So.
Wow. Well, you should tell me where that is. I'll make sure I get there with my anti-mask rally. And
yeah, do it.
Oh, I'll tell you, it's quite a world. Well,
it is.
Well, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure meeting you and having you on the show, and wish you most success in the future. And hopefully everything turns out. It's just good that you're out there doing this, and
definitely.
Hopefully it helps. It helps a lot when you guys all can get together physically, but doesn't it?
It does. It helps so much. I mean, we talk on Facebook and, all the time. We have a very private group within Facebook that has like 1,000 or almost 2,000 members to it. But we can connect that way, but it's just better in person. It's just awesome when you've been talking to somebody for a long time and then you finally get to like physically meet them. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's something about the support of someone when they're with you physically rather than just online all the time.
But we're pretty fortunate. We're still afloat, and we're still there, and we're still going to be there for people. But we're excited to get back out into the community.
So where are you off to next? You're going to keep on doing this, or have you heading to Hollywood, or what's going on?
I want to be a probation officer, I think. I got my degree in criminal justice, and I think I would love to go into I would love to be a probation officer. I think that's probably next, and still work for the Rebels Project and take care of kiddos. So that's kind of where I think I'm headed.
And it says you do kickboxing.
I do. Yeah. They actually just offered me a job this week.
Well, you can start kicking people.
I did. That was a really big part of my healing and my recovery was, I started fighting actually. And I had a fight when I was like 26 years old. I ended up having my first USA boxing match. And it was, I lost, but it was so much fun. But, Mike Tyson says it's always fun until you get punched in the face. So
absolutely.
Or bit in the ear.
Yeah, you always have or he said you always have a plan until you get punched in the face. So, and my plan went out the window when I got punched.
Yeah. Well, but it's important to do that physical work too, don't you think? I mean,
absolutely.
Like when you're actually out there, kicking and hitting and stuff like that, it's kind of a way of getting your aggression out, right?
Oh yeah. And plus I have ADD, so I can't sit still. And I think it's really important for me. I'm such a physical person to begin with, and I love sports. So for me, that is my best outlet. And I mean, I would much rather go kick and hit something than sit in a therapy session.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and if Dave and you weren't married, he'd be the perfect husband for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
He loves getting beat up by his wife.
That's so funny.
So you must wear the pants in the house then, eh?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yep.
Well,
my husband doesn't mess with me, that's for sure.
Oh, I'm gonna say no. She's got guns too. Oh. Well,
that's awesome.
It's been a pleasure, and hopefully everything keeps going well for you. And
awesome.
Our guest has been the survivor, and she's also the host of Confronting Columbine podcast, Amy Over. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
To find out more about our show, guests, or to listen to past shows from our archive, please go to www.houseofmysteryradio.com.
Show's over for now.
Was it as good for you as it was for me?
Well, good night.
This has been a production of Something Weird Media.
I'll be back.